All right, today we're diving into a classic Turkish fairy tale. It's all about a really clever hero who proves in the most amazing way that brains will always, always beat brawn. So let's start with this question because it's at the very heart of the story we're about to tell. Keep it in the back of your mind because our hero is going to give us a masterclass in the answer. So our story kicks off in a little village and we meet our hero, Keloğlan. Now, he's kind of a classic unlikely hero. He's known for being a bit lazy, and yeah, he's bald. He begs his mom to let him go with the villagers up to the mountains to get wood, and she finally gives in with no idea that he's about to prove everyone completely wrong about him. So once they're up in the mountains, the villagers tell him to get to work. But right away, we see Keloğlan's mind just works differently. He hits them with this line, twisting his mom's permission to mean he's just there for the ride. And you see, it's not just him being lazy. It's our first real hint that this kid sees angles that nobody else does. But you know how these stories go. The day starts to end, and that lighthearted mood just vanishes. The whole situation gets pretty serious when this thick, soupy fog rolls in, covering everything. The villagers can't see a thing, and just like that, they're completely and utterly lost. As they're stumbling around in the fog, two different signs of hope appear. From one direction, they can hear a dog barking, which probably means a house. And from the other, they see this warm, inviting little light glowing in a window. They've got to make a choice. So what would you do? I mean, really think about it. Do you trust the sound, which could mean protection, or do you follow the light, which promises warmth and safety? Their decision right here is going to change everything. Of course, they chose the light. It's a classic fairy tale move. And, as it turns out, a classic fairy tale trap. They're drawn to this house that looks so safe, and they're greeted by this super friendly woman who invites them in to rest. But appearances can be deceiving, can't they? This woman, she's the giant's mother. So, while all the other villagers are exhausted and just pass out, Keloğlan's mind is still racing. It's not magic, it's just his gut telling him something is really, really wrong here. And sure enough, the giant's mother creeps back into the room, only to find our hero with his eyes wide open, watching her every move. And this is where the real game begins, the battle of wits. The giant's mother puts on this sweet, grandmotherly voice and asks this question that seems so innocent. But Keloğlan knows exactly what she's doing. It's a trap. She's trying to figure out a way to knock him out for her own sinister plans. Keloğlan decides to play along with her little game. He tells her, "Oh, my mother, she would cook me some eggs to help me sleep." The giant's mother, thinking her plan is working, rushes off to the kitchen to cook for him. With that one little sentence, Keloğlan has just bought himself some very precious time. So he eats the eggs she brings him, but when she comes back to check, there he is, still wide awake, just staring at her. You can just imagine her frustration, but she doesn't give up. She tries again, asking what his mother would give him to drink. And this next part? Oh, this is just pure genius. He says, "My mother would bring me water from the spring in a sieve." Think about that. He hasn't just given her a chore. He's given her an impossible puzzle, a task that completely breaks logic. And she falls for it. She grabs a sieve and marches out to the spring, determined to do something that can't be done. The second she's out the door, Keloğlan jumps into action, and this is the moment he goes from being just a clever kid saving himself to being a true hero. He shakes the villagers awake, tells them they're in terrible danger, and tells them to run, while he creates a distraction. So eventually, the giantess gives up trying to carry water in a sieve. She comes back, absolutely furious that the villagers are gone, and she just grabs Keloğlan and stuffs him into a sack. But our hero is always one step ahead. His escape plan is already in motion, and it all revolves around her most prized possession, her young red calf, the Aldana. The giantess leaves for just a moment to go sharpen her teeth for her meal, and that's all the time Keloğlan needs. He whips out a small knife, slices the sack open, shoves the very confused red calf inside, and scrambles up into the dark rafters of the roof to hide. When the giantess gets back, she opens the sack and finds her own precious calf. Just then, she hears a little chuckle from up above. She looks up, and there's Keloğlan, just sitting on a roof beam. Totally baffled, she asks him how in the world he managed to get all the way up there. And now for the grand finale. Keloğlan decides he's gonna have some fun. First, he tells her he's stacked sieves to climb up. She tries it, and they all collapse. Then he tells her he's stacked eggs. She tries that and just creates a giant, gooey mess on the floor. Finally, he tells her he stacked the ladders. She wobbles them on top of each other, tries to climb, and the whole thing comes crashing down, leaving her in a heap on the floor, unable to get up. With a giant's mother defeated by her own foolishness and his incredible wit, Keloğlan's path to freedom was wide open. There was only one thing left for him to do. He climbed down, got out of that house, and met back up with the villagers. And when they finally got home, the story about him had completely changed. The lazy, bald boy was gone. In his place was a hero, the hero who had saved them all, proving that the greatest strength you have isn't in your muscles, it's in your mind. The tale ends with this beautiful, traditional Turkish closing. It's a little piece of oral history. 3 apples fall from the sky. 1 is a reward for the storyteller keeping the tale alive. 1 is for you, for listening. And that final apple, well, that's a bit of a warning, isn't it? It's for anyone who forgets the lesson of the story and fails to use the wits they have. So, as we wrap this up, the story kind of leaves us where we started. It makes you think, what does it truly mean to be a hero? Is it all about physical strength and fighting monsters head-on? Or is it about something else entirely? Having the courage to think differently, to use your wits to find a way out when it matters most.